We're not in Kansas anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Key information with Steve Quayle coming up. Let's go to your calls right now. Welcome to our lives inside the New World Order. It's not coming. It's here. Now we march deeper into the breach. Into the valley went the 5,000. Let's go ahead and talk to Sherry in Georgia. Sherry, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex. How you doing?
Good. Welcome.
With the anti-Fed revolution, and it's Carrie, by the way.
I'm sorry, it says Sherry. Carrie, okay.
That's okay. With the anti-Fed revolution picking up speed right now, what is your personal view or your personal opinion on, we've had the unusual activity of the Fed now admitting they've hidden gold swap arrangements and things like that. This push for this anti-Fed revolution, on the flip side of that, how do we know who should be in charge after control has or maybe would be regained, so to speak?
Well, I'm facing the battle at hand. Justice be done, may the heavens fall, as a great philosopher once said. I'm calculating every possible destination of their trajectory on how they're going to counter us auditing the Fed. And an audit, as the Fed has said, will destroy them because they're so criminal and have engaged in so much insider trading and giving themselves trillions of dollars. It's a consortium of private banks masquerading as government. Now we've unmasked them as private, and in national polls, the majority of the American people, over 75%, want to audit it or abolish it. They now know it's private. We've had that great victory. Now we've identified the real government, the illegitimate shadow government. Ron Paul has a plan to monetize it and phase it out and write off the derivatives with a partially gold-backed system after we've done that. Other people have a purely fiat system, different variants of that. We need to have a national debate and education about fiat currency and fractional reserve banking, and then get the power of the purse nationalized under the Constitution as it's supposed to be. Just follow the Constitution. People keep bashing our system of government. We don't follow our system of government for a good 50 years completely. In the last 100, they've been phasing it out. But in the last 50, it's almost gone since the mid-50s. So we have to have a restoration of what the Constitution says, and we'll just do what it says. And then Congress can decide how that's going to be done, and we'll make sure it's not a private bank again that's doing it. I mean, we had Andrew Jackson fight it and beat it. We had other presidents fight it and beat it. Lincoln had fights with him. He issued his own U.S. currency. They killed him over it. That's on record. So this is the big issue. This has always been the biggest issue. Because if you let these private banks issue imaginary currency and credit and debt, we will wake up homeless on the continent our forebears conquered overnight, within a generation, as Thomas Jefferson said. I'm paraphrasing his quote. So audit the Fed. First things first, nationalize it, and then we can have a specific debate about the legislation and what Congress does with that new system.
I just, fear, just like anybody else, this anti-Fed revolution turning into an excuse for people who are already in office to push for global currency. Ma'am,
global currency. Ma'am, I appreciate your call. That is the Federal Reserve's talking point. The Federal Reserve hired the Enron lobbyists, the biggest lobbying firm that handles all the big corruption cases, to run their PR. And they've said the economy will implode, we'll have martial law, the banks will pull the rug out from under us if we don't submit to them. It's like Professor Black in Fall of the Republic talks about, it's like in Blazing Saddles where the sheriff's surrounded and he says, drop your guns or I'll shoot myself. That's what they're doing. And they've also put out through our own ranks, they just want to get rid of the Fed to have a new world government. They just want a global currency. If we get rid of it, we'll have a world government. We already have a Bank of the World. We already have a world government. They have SDRs and other digital currencies being traded between the private central banks. They've already gone to digital money. They're going to have regionalized currencies. They're already announcing it. That are units that are controlled by that body. That's what the G20's meeting for. It's already here. So we have to save our currency, save the dollar, fix it, and get out of the IMF and World Bank and arrest these bankers. But again, the bankers know that they're fully discredited, so they only pose as patriots to discredit myself, Ron Paul, and anybody else that sticks their head up. to try to warn the people about the real system and say, they want to get rid of the Federal Reserve so we can have a world government. The Federal Reserve is the regional private consortium governorship of the international banking cartel on record. We already have a global government. That's what the carbon tax is. That's what the Tobin tax is. That's what all these announcements are for, and more money to the IMF and World Bank. We're in a world government. We're in the New World Order. They already have us under a global currency. It's bank to bank. Okay? They plan on killing the dollar to bring in the new world currency completely. Instead, we got to save the dollar and defeat the bankers. It's very simple, but you're buying their disinfo black off.